Let's get something straight from the beginning. Sigma females don't walk into a room trying to dominate. They don't try to be the loudest, the most charming, or the most noticed, and yet they often are. There's something deeply intimidating about a woman who doesn't need approval, doesn't chase attention, and doesn't play by the unwritten rules of social conformity. That's the Sigma female. And in this video, you're going to find out the psychological reasons why she's not just different, she's powerful, and why her silent strength makes people nervous, curious, and strangely attracted all at once. She doesn't fit any label, and that scares people. In a world that loves to put people in boxes, introvert or extrovert, leader or follower, loud or shy, the Sigma female refuses to be categorized. Psychologists call this identity independence, the ability to define yourself without external validation. Most people feel safe when they can understand someone's behavior. But the Sigma female, she defies expectation. She doesn't fit into the neat categories people rely on, and that makes others uncomfortable. There's power in unpredictability, and the Sigma woman has mastered it. Her silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Some women talk to fill the space. Sigma females don't. In fact, they often say less and mean more. This can be deeply intimidating in social situations. Why? Because silence makes people project their own thoughts. And when a Sigma female sits quietly in a room, observing, thinking, not rushing to speak, people begin to wonder what she's thinking. They sense a depth that isn't immediately accessible. That silence becomes presence, and that presence becomes power. She doesn't seek validation, she self-validates. Validation is like a drug in today's world. Social media thrives on it. So do most human relationships, but not the Sigma female. She moves through the world guided by an internal compass. She doesn't need constant reassurance to feel worthy. Her validation comes from within, and that terrifies those who depend on approval to feel good about themselves. It also makes her extremely difficult to manipulate. You can't control someone who doesn't crave your praise. She intimidates because she's not afraid to be alone. There's a strange paradox here. The more comfortable you are with solitude, the more powerful you become in groups. Sigma females understand this at a cellular level. They don't fear being alone. They embrace it. In fact, many prefer it. This independence means they're not easily swayed by trends, peer pressure, or the fear of missing out. While others panic when left out, the Sigma female uses solitude to sharpen her mind, focus her goals, and reconnect with herself. To some, that's intimidating. To others, it's magnetic. She doesn't play the status game. Sigma females don't care about being better than others. They care about being better than who they were yesterday. That's why they often intimidate those stuck in traditional power structures. In workplaces, friendships, and even families, people often compete for dominance, hierarchy, and recognition. But the Sigma female isn't even in that race. She's on her own path, which often ends up being more successful, more fulfilling, and yes, more threatening to those who still measure their worth in likes, promotions, or praise. Her intelligence isn't just book smarts, it's emotional precision. Sigma females tend to be highly emotionally intelligent, but not in a performative way. They can read a room in seconds. They can pick up on the smallest shift in tone or energy. This hyper-awareness comes from their introverted intuition, a trait often linked to high levels of pattern recognition and emotional depth. It's not about showing off their smarts. It's about using their awareness to navigate the world more effectively, and that can be unsettling for others, especially those who underestimate her because she's quiet or reserved. She's hard to influence and even harder to control. Most people are subtly guided by what others think of them, not the Sigma female. She has a rare trait called internal locus of control. In psychological terms, this means she believes that she, not fate, not others, is responsible for her life. She doesn't react emotionally to manipulation. She doesn't fall into the traps of gossip, peer pressure, or emotional blackmail. And because she doesn't need others to shape her choices, she becomes deeply intimidating to those who do. Control only works on the compliant, and Sigma females are anything but. She has a vision most people can't see. The Sigma female is often a visionary, not because she wants to change the world, but because she deeply understands herself. She has long-term goals that others might not understand. She'll work quietly, diligently, often behind the scenes. But when the results show up, they're hard to ignore. She's not flashy about her dreams. She's focused. And that quiet commitment, it makes noise. People notice, and often they don't know how to deal with it. She doesn't try to be liked. She chooses to be respected. Being liked is easy. Say what people want to hear. Smile more than you want to. Blend in. Don't rock the boat. Sigma females don't play that game. They don't aim to be popular. They aim to be authentic. And authenticity, especially in women, can sometimes be misread as arrogance, coldness, or pride. But it's not any of those, it's integrity. And when a woman holds on to her truth in a world that often wants her to shrink, people get intimidated. She's mysterious, but not on purpose. A Sigma female isn't trying to be mysterious. She just values her privacy. She doesn't overshare. She doesn't broadcast every detail of her life. And this reserved nature creates curiosity and sometimes insecurity in others. People can't figure her out. They want to, they try. But because she reveals only what she chooses to, they never feel like they truly have her. And what we can't fully grasp, we often fear or fall for. She can walk away, and that's her superpower. Neediness is common. Most people cling to relationships, friendships, jobs, even identities. But the Sigma female? She's ready to walk away if something violates her values or disrespects her peace. This detachment isn't cold, it's clarity. She knows her worth. She doesn't beg, plead, or chase. And when people realize she can leave and not look back, they either level up or leave. That kind of self-respect is intimidating because it's rare. She doesn't need a crowd. Her vibe is enough. There's something almost electric about being in the presence of someone who is entirely self-possessed. You feel it before they speak. You sense it before they move. That's the Sigma female. Her aura isn't loud. It's not loud colors, big energy, or explosive charisma. It's calm, quiet, but deeply grounded. People around her either feel inspired or exposed, because her calm confidence often reflects back other people's insecurities. And when that happens, intimidation follows. She's not competing, she's creating. In a world where women are often pitted against each other, the Sigma female opts out. She doesn't gossip, she doesn't compare, she doesn't compete with other women. Instead, she creates new ideas, new paths, new standards. And that's why she often stands out. She's not trying to beat anyone. She's just being fully herself. And that, ironically, is what makes her hard to beat. She lives by her own rules. At the heart of the Sigma female is this unshakable truth. She lives life on her own terms. She's not trying to rebel. She's just not trying to conform either. She questions traditions, norms, expectations, not out of spite, but from a deep desire to live authentically. That mindset is liberating, but it's also intimidating, because when you watch someone else living freely, you're forced to confront where you're not. And that's the truth most people find hard to handle. Closing thought. The Sigma female isn't intimidating because she wants to be. She's intimidating because she refuses to be anything less than real. Her strength doesn't come from shouting, but from silence. Her power doesn't lie in pleasing, but in presence. And her aura, it's not about being better than others. It's about being true to herself. In a world that demands women be loud or likable, soft or submissive, the Sigma female is simply herself. And that in itself is revolutionary.